Liverpool get beat 1-0 by Galatasaray. That is one of the weakest performances under the manager, in my opinion. That is a performance that lacked everything this Liverpool team should have. Going away to Galatasaray, hostile environment, big atmosphere, rising to the occasion. The fans brought it. Their players brought it. They brought energy. They brought a bit of passion, which I don't believe we had today. The referee, he was dishing out yellow cards like it was actually going out of fashion. However, all the yellow cards we received weren't so much for we get the yellow cards where it's like, oh, it's 50-50, that was a good tackle, but okay, fine, it's a yellow card. Our yellows were for bumping into players, were for stupid tackles, which didn't, for me, reflect any sort of bravery. It didn't push any sort of cavalier attitude at all. It was from a bit of arrogance, in my opinion, from Liverpool today. All them yellow cards, giving away stupid fouls. How many free kicks did Liverpool have today, which went into Van Dijk, went into Konate? Two physical players, yet our free kick resulted in a free kick for them because we did a stupid push in the box, a stupid barge. It's clumsy. There's no character today. It's really poor, and that's one of the weakest sides, the weakest performances under the manager. And the noticeable absences: Isak, Salah. I mean, come on. You got the impression when Salah came on. We might get into this now. You look at the last time Salah came on, that wasn't a dead rubber game in the Champions League. He scored a hat-trick against Rangers. Remember that game? I was expecting just a shadow of that, just a glimmer of that game, right? He just came on and was like, okay, I've got to work some sort of miracle here. We left it all down to Mo Salah and Isak off the bench, and that's not good enough. That team left the substitutes with way too much to do. And for me, they just didn't have it was amazing, actually, how little of a grasp they had on that game, even when they were on the pitch. Isak hardly touched the ball. Wirtz, you've got to get Wirtz on the ball more. I'm all for Wirtz not being particularly efficient and not scoring goals, not creating. I want him on the ball more than anyone else in our team. I mean that. He's one of the most silky, smooth, natural players with the football we've had in my lifetime. And I get that he's not scoring. I get that he's not hit the ground running yet, like Ekatike hasn't. But you've got to get him on the ball more. Therefore, more things will happen, in my opinion. His touches and his touch map, for me, is a bit shocking. Where he's receiving the ball, he's coming too deep to receive it. And the fact he's coming too deep implies that he's not getting it further on. Implies the likes of McAllister when he's coming on, which he was poor again today, in my opinion, isn't passing to him. Implies Jones, Soberslai, Gravenberch, the fullbacks, the centre-backs, aren't passing the ball to him enough. Because he's coming deep to receive the ball, he's getting frustrated, and he's having to do things off his own back. He's not come to Liverpool to play as a number 4 or number 6. He played in the left half space last year, the year before, went unbeaten in a side in which he was the best player in that side, in the left half space, yet he's dropping in between the back two to receive the ball at times. I don't know, we'll leave Wirtz for another day. Listen, Liverpool today, 16 shots to Galatasaray's 9, 4 shots on target for both teams, only 2 big chances for both teams. One of their big chances, I assume one was the end shot from Torreira. I don't know if that was a big chance or not, but one was definitely the penalty. Was it a penalty or not? For me, no. I see why he's given it. One of them, there's enough substance for me in the penalty to not overturn it. Do you get my point there? It's been given, but he's not probably going to overturn that because it's been given. However, you, as much as I didn't think it was a penalty, you cannot at all chuck in as well the poor yellow cards the referee was given. He was dishing them out again. You cannot blame a referee for not managing to beat Galatasaray. 1-0. I don't care if the referee scored a goal for Galatasaray. You don't blame the referee in that kind of game, in my opinion. I get it's the environment, the hostile atmosphere. I believe the players were woken up last night by a frigging fireworks or whatever. Forget it. It means nothing. I don't care. I genuinely don't care. Look, that Liverpool team was more than good enough to win. And for me, it's not even about, even if we drew, even if we played okay, it's the character for me we didn't show. That's a big concern in my opinion. Some of the passing was awful. And I know the pitch was the grass looked awful and it was like bobbly, but again, who cares? This side, on paper, is more than good enough to be that side. I don't care whether you're playing on the playground in school, on top of Mount Everest. You beat that team in front of you because you're a better team. And that comes back to what I've been saying every single week. This team is not playing cohesive football right now. This team hasn't clicked. They've not gelled. You've brought in 8 new signings and sold 8 players. It's not going to gel. I'm not surprised we've not gelled yet. But I'm getting to the point where it's like, okay, we're 8 games, 9 games in now. You've got to start gelling. Like, how long do we take? How long before you go, right, you've got to start. Come on, like, what's happening here? Why are the pieces not coming together? I'd like to think we've played enough games together now to maybe resemble some sort of decent attack. And we actually, tell me where our next goal's coming from. Man City winning the ball, Reinders winning the ball, maybe playing a pass to Haaland or taking a player on. Doku, bit of work on the outside, passing to Haaland. Haaland's either through on goal or he's got a tap in. You know how Man City is scoring. We criticise Arsenal all the time for scoring set pieces, corners, throw-ins, throwing coach, and my God, how cringy. They're scoring goals, not being funny. They're finding a way to do it. Yeah, we're finding a way to do it as well, but none of our goals are the same. And we're doing it so late. At least Arsenal, right, and given their flaws, at least they've got a plan B. I know their plan A isn't particularly working. In my opinion, it will do this year, and we're seeing glimpses against Newcastle, etc. But last year it wasn't working. But at least they had a plan B. We've not even got a plan B. Our plan B is Brian Chiesa or Engamoa. In terms of stylistically, we look terrible. And that's a fair comment. That is not me slot out. It's like so many of this fan base for some weird reason are. It's like, are you serious? Are you human? Are you real? But it's a fair criticism to make. I can't work out how we're scoring a goal next week, the week after, against Chelsea. How we're going to score? If you bet first goal. Who's going first goal? God knows. Literally roll the dice and pick the shirt number. You could not predict our next goal scorer, and that's a big issue. That's a big problem. The way we are going into these games, and in my opinion, in this game, was very reserved. It was very, are we just a better team here? Do we think we're just going to cruise over the line? If you watch my match preview, which I do every single week, 2 days before each game, make sure you subscribe and so you don't miss that, as well as more Liverpool content. I was adamant Salah should start the game. And listen, was the Salah benching the reason we lost the game? Probably not. Probably not one player. But he's got to start the game. People saying, well, Salah's not been playing very well. I agree. I entirely agree. But do you know something? He scores goals. He scores goals when others don't. We didn't score today. How many games under Arne Slot, this must be able to... This question, the answer to this question, you could probably count on one hand, surely. How many games have we not scored in? I don't know. Is it a coincidence, by the way, that one of the games today, Salah wasn't on the pitch? Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. I mean, I'm putting 2 and 2 together there and saying, that's not a coincidence, that. Again, is it a case of you play Salah and you win the game suddenly? Probably not. His performances haven't been great. But you get that inevitability from Salah. You get the idea that a goal's probably coming with him on the pitch. A goal wasn't even nearly coming today. Go back to... Oh, what a great example this is, by the way. Atletico Madrid. That game was 2-0. We're 2-0 up cruising. We bottle it at the time. 2-2. We let everything go. But the last 10 minutes, last 15 minutes, we really started to gather momentum and a bit of enthusiasm, and you could tell the fans were getting behind us, and you could tell it was just completely building and building. A couple corners were going in. Really good corners from Szoboszlai. A couple ones went across the post and headed over the bar. You got the impression a goal was coming, and what happened? Szoboszlai knocks one in, and Van Dijk gets on the end of it. With his head. We scored a goal. Today there was none of that. Today there was none of a last 10 minutes, a last surge against Burnley. Yeah, we were crap in the game, but you got the impression we were going to score. So I don't care how we were going to score. We were going to score in that game. Today, it didn't even look nearly like that. And I look at the Plymouth game all over that. Absolutely, in my opinion. I'd love to know what you guys think. I'll end it with this. And I must just end it with this, actually. This is important we get in here. Frankfurt beat... Frankfurt, German team. Obviously, we signed Ekatika from there, and Marmoush was from there. Frankfurt beat Galatasaray, that team there, 5-1 2 weeks ago. Frankfurt beat Galatasaray 5-1. Frankfurt were beaten 5-1 tonight by Atletico Madrid, a team we narrowly beat in the last minute. We play Frankfurt in 2 weeks. A team who have just beaten the team 5-1 who just beat us. That's not good. I'm going to end it on this. I am all for backing this team. In fact, I shouldn't even have to say that. If you are not backing this team, I question why you're even at this point of the video. Why are you even watching this channel? What is the point of all this if you don't back your team? Liverpool are top of the league still. I've got to remind you there. Liverpool have not been amazing, and we're still winning games. My thing is this. How many games can you say that for before it doesn't become winner's title mentality, before it doesn't become, these are the sign of a leader. You know, if you score that many late goals whilst playing bad, that's the sign of a team who are going to win, are going to lead the league for the whole season and win the league. And how many times can that happen before it's like, well, we're just crappy and we just happen to be scoring late goals? And I think we might be at that stage. How many late goals have we scored this year? I reckon 60% of our goals, 50% have come after 80th minute, 70th minute. Is that a title winning side? Really? Are we dominating the ball? No. Can you tell how we're meant to be? Can you tell how we're playing football? What's our style? What's the identity? I particularly can't, really. And it goes back to what I was saying. Where's our next goal coming from? I don't know. I'd love to know your thoughts. I'm going to end on this. I keep saying I'm going to end on this, but actually I'm now. I don't believe the level was met there by a lot of players. Jones, I thought he had a poor game, although I said he should have played. I was wrong. He had a poor game today. Maybe I was right, but he actually had a poor game. McAllister came on, was poor again. Gravenberch had one of his weakest games at Liverpool. Konate. What the hell's going on? That's not the first time, that's not the second, not the third. Maybe the fourth time. He's had like a really, not just a poor game. You know when a defender has a poor game, and they're like, no, maybe they're beating in the air by a few, which Konate was, like against Newcastle. Anthony Gordon's beating him in the air. Against Palace, Mateta's had his number. It's not even just that, it's like, on the ball, he looks pretty shocking. And I don't like to use that word about a player. He looks pretty awful on the ball right now, and that's not a good thing. If you're a team who like to play out the back and keep the ball for the majority of the game, if your centre-back can't do it, something's going to break down there. That's going to give. And it's showing. That's not Konate's fault we lost today. But there were so many instances. He made a terrible pass in the first half. That second half one where he puts a really slow pass into Gravenberch, and it's like, what's he meant to do with that? Gravenberch had a few bad touches as well. I think Konate needs to sharpen up. He had a few good games. He had a good game against Arsenal, arguably the biggest game of the season. He really played well, in my opinion. But other than that, he's not been there at all. I'd love to know your thoughts down below. Slow, lazy, and again, those losing the ball, giving it away cheaply, they're all signs of perhaps not being up for the game, perhaps being a bit complacent. And it's showing. It was showing in that game there. I put a lot down on the manager, in my opinion. And I think we've every right to do so, given we've just been beaten by Galatasaray. You've got to blame someone. It's not like, oh, I can't wait for tomorrow, let's forget about the day. You've got to blame someone there, I'm not being funny. It's not my fault, it's not your fault. I put half on the manager and half on the players, actually, in my opinion. When I don't think many people will put as much weight on the players, because I just don't think enough. It's simple things which give you so much of an idea of where we're at. Not enough weight on the ball, not enough tackles going in, not enough winning. It indicates a lack of, for me, desire to win the game and a bit of complacency. Are we better than we think we are? They're the concerns I would throw at you right now, and I'd love to know your thoughts down below. Please do get in the comment section. I'll be in the comment section for the next hour at least after this video's been posted, and obviously, continuing as well. I'm not just going to delete the video after an hour, but I'll be in there replying to you all straight away. Get your thoughts in the comments, and I'd love to have a back and forth with you. Nice one, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed. See you later on. Shame again. Got to brush it aside, I guess. Another loss.